for your patience. It's like our entire system got zapped. Internet went out, the interfaces went out. So thank y'all for bearing with us. There's two drummers in here trying to learn how to do live TV. So we appreciate all your patience while we figure it out. And I'm just going to go ahead and play a little bit, and then we're going to start talking a little bit. Cool? All right. Yeah! Well, that felt a lot better. Feels good to play the drums. Hopefully, some of the fun and joy that I'm having is being expressed to y'all. That's my job. That's what I'm supposed to do. That's what I've spent my whole life working on learning how to do, is play the drums, play music, and hopefully give you guys something else to think about in difficult times, and give you something to bring a little happiness, bring a little enjoyment
into challenging situations that we find ourselves in. So I know we're going through a difficult period right now. I have never willingly canceled anything in my life. So I was scheduled to go live tonight, and that's what we're doing. So if you're tuning in, I appreciate it. Thank you for being with me and Nick tonight. And I can't tell you how much we really appreciate all your support tonight and throughout this whole period that we've found ourselves in. This Wednesday night is something I've been looking forward to every week. We try to get a little better at what we do. Even when all the technology fails, we just remain calm and try to persist. And
it's good when it works.
It's good when it works. It's great when it works. And when it doesn't, at least for me, I've tried to realize, hey, everything's going to be all right. We're going to make it through. We'll try to fix what's going on and get back to you. I've been trying to get less stressed and flustered through this period of time.
Would you say you're too blessed to stress?
What's that?
Are you too blessed to stress?
Too blessed?
Blessed.
Too blessed to stress. Yes, I guess so, Nick. Can you turn yourself up so I can hear you? Nick is my engineer, my audio visual. He's the guy that keeps me company in here while we're figuring all this stuff out. He figured all this out. I had a will to stream, and really I got in here with Nick and was like, let's figure this out, and he's figured it out. So we started this stream with me playing a play-along that Joe Ashlar created for me, and I owe him some drum tracks. Joe Ashlar is an incredible organ player here in New Orleans. He played the tune Blackjack and sent it to me. Just him, playing bass, playing organ, so I could play along to it. So I keep having some fresh play-alongs to play along to. Joe Ashlar and Danny Abel and I are going to be playing at NOLA Brewery outside. Tables and seating and social distancing and masks required. And we're playing this Friday, January 15th. So shout out to Joe Ashlar and Danny Abel, because I'll be playing with them Friday night, outside, outdoors at NOLA Brewery. And speaking of playing with people, I got a phone call today from my good friend, Anders Osborne, and I'll be playing drums with him for his live stream Friday. He is launching his Yaya room, and he's launching it virtually from his living room. And this is something he's been telling me about for years. He's been wanting to have this listening room for songwriters, acoustic music, and just music appreciation, and just the most vibey listening room you could ever imagine. And he and I have been talking a lot through all of this, and if you imagine it, you can make it happen. And he was the first musician friend of mine that I saw just playing live with an acoustic guitar in front of his computer. And my wife and I put it on our TV while we were making dinner, and we're just like, oh my God, this is the most healing thing imaginable. So I started doing things on Wednesday nights, doing little master classes and occasional playing along to play-alongs. And so I've come up with this format where I play a couple songs for y'all and then talk to y'all, answer your questions, talk about things. And so if you have any questions, we can start with general things, music things, and then eventually we start getting into drummer things too. So Nick, my trusty engineer, confidant, and MC, pitchman, do you see any questions coming in?
Well, maybe
And also, while you pull up a question, and I'll say, this is our first stream of 2020. 2020 starting off with a bang, but I do feel it in my heart. This is going to be a better year, and the world is heading in a better direction. I know it. I can feel it. So hang in there, everybody. I know that we're headed to a better place. So, Nick, you got a question coming in?
Well,
oh, you got the Nick cam.
yeah, I got the Nick cam back up.
Fantastic.
Yeah, lots of stuff. Lost audio. I don't know. Steve, turn it up. I don't know.
Did we lose the audio completely? Let us know if it's totally gone.
No, we're sending an audio signal.
All right, we're sending an audio signal.
And you're not muted. Yeah, everything seems to be working on this end.
Great. While you figure that out.
Oh, but I do have a question. There is a question. But it's more of like a drummery question, so I don't know if you want to wait on it. Well, one person was asking how you some good things to practice that are just like for like a small drum setup, like a small drum kit, like kick, snare, hat.
Oh kind my goodness! I mean everything. You could practice everything on kick, snare, hat. Everything from starting to learn grooves, starting to learn rudiments, starting to learn independence. I mean, just kick, snare, hat. There's so much you can do. I mean, I'll just play kick, snare, hat for a little bit. Shoot, I was just getting started. And then I hit the trash crash at the end. But that's all just kick and snare. I mean, you could play so much. I mean, I even went into like heavier stuff, right? Opening up the hi-hats to kind of ride on them. And then I was like, oh yeah, let me go swing out on the hi-hat for a little while. And then swinging out made me think of Jabo Starks, who I could tell a lot of stories, great stories about meeting and hanging several times with Jabo Starks, and how what he's doing on the hi-hat is relative to the jazz ride cymbal pattern. And I've talked about that before. We can get into that. But so when I'm playing one thing, it makes me think of something else. And then, that happens when I'm playing with a band. That happens if I'm playing by myself. And, it's fun to put parameters on yourself. Like kick, snare, hat. Okay, cool, fun. Let me just play kick snare, play kick snare hat. There's so many different ways to do that. I mean, you know, here's just eighth notes on kick snare hat. And I could do that all day. I love that. Playing drums is not always about playing a lot of complicated stuff. Sometimes it just feels good to play eighth notes. And hopefully I'm making it feel good to y'all too. And eighth notes, man, feels good just to play eighth notes.
Love a good eighth note.
What's that, Nick?
Love a good eighth note.
Love a good eighth note. But the trick is, can you make simple eighth notes sound good? That's the trick. Any other questions coming in, Nick?
Yes. There's the. Okay, first, maybe let's keep politics out of the comments. Let's make this is a politics-free zone, so no politics.
Yeah, if you want to see politics,
just
go to CNN,
go on your
Fox News,
go on
or
your news
MSNBC.
Go on your newsfeed if you want to talk politics.
Yeah, I was watching politics all before I came over here, and I'll be watching it when I get done.
It's politics-free zone.
Yeah, I play drums. If you want, hey, would you watch Anderson Cooper and expect him to play drums?
I would like to see that. That would.
So
be
don't
fun.
watch me and expect me to talk politics.
A question. There's a couple questions about New Orleans drumming, and we talk about that stuff a lot. But I think it would be a cool aside would be like maybe just talk about like some of the like the big influencers, like starting from like the beginning to now, because there's so many, but like we talk a lot about Johnny V and talk a lot about Hurlin, but like and Zig. Maybe let's try to start earlier.
So let's go back to Baby Dodds and Zooty Singleton, okay?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
And so these guys would play time on the snare drum. So the hi-hat wasn't even invented until the 20s, and Bill Ludwig brought Baby Dodds a low boy, and Baby Dodds didn't like it. So Baby Dodds never played hi-hat. So I'm just going to take my left foot and put it over here. So we're not even going to play the hi-hat. I got it, the clutch disengaged. So this is all about snare drum. And so it's taken some of what was played in the streets and putting it on the snare drum, right? So. Okay, so what that means, I left my vocal mic on. It makes the drums distorted when I leave that on. Okay, so admittedly, I got into a little bit of a funkier thing at the end, right? So this is coming to me, it seems like this is coming from the 5-stroke roll. European type marches played for functions in New Orleans. And here, I'm gonna start off playing it more military. And then I'm going to loosen it up to where it sounds like more like Baby Dodds. Check it out. So that's what I would call a more straight second line. And then this rhythm that came from Africa through the horrific practices of slavery and forced migration, music, culture, religion, dance, and song was forced to come. First through Haiti, then through Cuba, then to New Orleans through slavery. And then black slavery and black slaves started playing these types of rhythms, and then also started taking rhythms that have roots in Africa, things that started to develop in Haiti and Cuba and then become clave in Cuba. But modifications of clave start showing up on the snare drum. So here's a modified 2/3 clave. So that rhythm, boom, jack, boom, boom. So a standard son 2/3 clave. But as everybody knows, in New Orleans, especially after Katrina, we're below sea level. So what that means is things move a little slower. We round things off. And so this rhythm starts to round off to this. So it's the combination of marches and African rhythms played on the snare drum. And that's, Baby Dots was playing things straighter. And then as we get into more modern day, cats like Herlin, Shannon start to incorporate that right? Johnny V, of course, has his approach to doing things. And Johnny plays a lot of more 3 or 3/2 clave stuff. So taking the 3/2 clave, so this New Orleans style of drumming, to me, what Baby Dodds is playing on the snare drum, you can easily hear how that translated to the ride cymbal. It became the ride cymbal pattern. But even that spang-a-lang, 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 I'm still hearing up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, black and white, black and white, black and white, black and white, good and bad, all that stuff. It's the things that make the universe go round, right? It's yin and yang. And I'm hearing that in the 5-stroke roll. And yin and yang. Ding, ding, gang. Spang-a-lang, spang-a-lang, and yin and yang. And spang-a-lang, and yin and yang. It's like, man, it makes sense. And then that spang-a-lang rhythm, eventually, once Earl Palmer took that and made it more powerful by doubling it on the snare drum and then putting a funky New Orleans bass drum on it. Check this out. Josephine, how do you do? Jackadoo, jackadoo. You remember me, baby. I remember you. Jackaloo, jackaloo. Dick, 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 da. A boo, da, doo, sackaloo, sackaloo. Right? Here's an Earl Palmer fill. Earl Palmer, man. God, it all starts with Baby Dodds and Earl Palmer. I mean, can't make this stuff up. Of course, there's Fred Belo from Chicago.
Why don't you go over that drum fill? I think everybody needs that drum fill in their pocket.
What's that?
So why don't you go over that drum fill real quick? Because I think everybody needs that drum fill in their pocket.
That drum fill?
Yeah.
Well, the way I just stuck it, I'm not sure how Earl does it, but I start it with the left hand. So. So, you know, you're taking a feel that is in between straight and swing. It's coming from triplets because Earl Palmer was playing shuffles and then Little Richard was playing straight, right? So, Lucille, right? So Little Richard's playing straight. Earl Palmer, admittedly, was playing more swing. Right? And then, you know, shout out to my good friend and one of my favorite drummers on the face of the planet, Carlo Nuccio. So, you know, Carlo will take that feel and then he'll play 16th notes. So you're playing a feel that's in between triplets and straights, in between. And then sometimes you play triplets as fills, sometimes you play 16th notes as fills. But even that concept of playing 16th notes as a fill in that feel, that's coming from Earl Palmer. And Carlo will tell you that. And you know who else totally loved Earl Palmer? John Bonham. Does this sound familiar? John Bonham's tribute to Earl Palmer. Now, Charles Connor did play on You Keep a Knockin'. That's true. But Earl Palmer played on Eddie Cochran's Something Else and played almost the same intro on Something Else. Earl Palmer played that with Eddie Cochran. And then Led Zeppelin covered Something Else in 1969. I'll show you the YouTube links. So John Bonham was learning that intro. He may have gotten it from Keep a Knockin', but he also heard it as Earl Palmer played it on Something Else. Little musical drum archaeology. I love this stuff. I can talk about this stuff all night. But Nick doesn't have all night. Oh, it's 7 o'clock already because we got a late start because we had some issues. Nick's got date night tonight. I've got dinner with my wife. We try to keep it to an hour because we want people to keep coming back.
If you want to go for a little bit longer, we can. Like maybe like 15 more minutes. I can buy you 15 more.
Okay. Thank you, Nick. You know, I know we're going through difficult times right now. Anybody who enjoys the way that I present drumming information, if you want to come check out StantonMooreDrumAcademy.com, we've got the 14-day trial, and you can check it out. Also, musicians are out of work right now, so any contributions and virtual tips are greatly appreciated. So, thank y'all very much. All right, that's all I'm going to say about that. Nick, do we have any more questions coming in?
Yes. Short answer, yes. Let me get to him. Yeah, let me get to him. So, Doug has asked twice the interval you're tuning your timbales in.
Oh, that's a good question. I don't tune them to a specific interval, but let's check it out. They sound almost like a 6. N, B, C. Sounds higher than a 5th to me. What do you think, Nick?
Tritone. It's almost a tritone.
But, you know, I just tune them to where they sound like they belong together, you know. Since you brought them up, I'm going to play something I've been working on during all of this. Yes. So that's go-go, DC go-go influenced. I'm not going to call it go-go because I'm not from DC and I don't play in a go-go band. But I'm still inspired by it and influenced by it. So I also hear a lot of New Orleans, a lot of similarities to New Orleans rhythms in go-go. Remember this rhythm we were talking about? right? So yeah, if it were go-go, I'd slow it down a little bit and swing it a little bit more. We love DC. I love DC. And my love is going out to DC right now. And as soon as I get done with this, we're going to go back to the news because I am very concerned about what's happening. So, all right, Nick.
Well, all right. Give me a second.
Doug Oscard. See, I love questions. They just send me off on stories and tangents.
All right. So another question that came up. Oh man, I'm holding so many things right now.
I know. Nick is doing the job of 6 people.
Bear with me, y'all. So 2 seconds. Oh, someone was calling you out, wanting you to play some brushes. Also, someone's reading that Picaro book.
Yeah. Isn't it good?
What's Ernie Cato's "Here Comes the Girl" beat? That's
All right. That's a great question and put me on the spot. It goes like this. This may be it, note for note. It may be a note off or so. And then on my version that I did, where I had Cyril Neville and Trombone Shorty sit in, I wanted to reference that rhythm, but I wanted to do something different with it. So usually if I cover something, I like to put my own spin on it if I can. So yeah, you spit out like, oh, brushes. Of course, love. Let's play some brushes. What do you want me to play with brushes? I'm gonna start out just playing in 3 and see where we go. Yeah. All right, man. Whew. I'm reading one comment that says, thank you, man. Thank you all. Thank you all for tuning in. I needed this. Hopefully, if you tuned in, you needed it too. I appreciate all the support. And, man, so many things to look forward to in this year. And, you know, I'm going to focus on positive things that we have coming up in the very near future. So, just to reiterate what we've got coming up this week, Friday night, I'm going to be at Anders' house, Anders Osborne, the man I consider my older brother, who I love very much. He's launching his Yaya room virtually and has invited me to come over and hang and play with him. It's going to be an absolute blast, an honor and a privilege. And then we'll be back here next week, Friday, a week from this Friday, Friday the 15th. I'll be at NOLA Brewery, limited, like outdoor limited seats. But I'm shouting that out because of my good friend Joe Ashlar, who sent me that play along that we played on the first part of this live stream. So I'm going to let Nick get to his date night. I'm going to go have dinner with my wife. I wish you all a good night. I hope that you're all staying safe.
Happy Carnival, y'all.
Happy Carnival. It's 12th night, y'all. It's the start of Carnival season. Happy Carnival. Eat some king cake.
Eat some king cake.
Yeah. We're going to do Mardi Gras virtually this year. House floats.
All y'all people that learned how to make bread over this quarantine, now you can learn how to make king cake.
There you go. Man, sell king cake to your neighbors. There you go. Side hustle. All right. Love y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Be safe. Be good to one another. And we'll see you down the road. Good night.